How's it going? My name's Dave. I do apologize for the delay in this video, but I've had some things to attend to. My name's Dave Freeman. I'm a fourth year political science major at the University of Texas at Dallas. Um, how do I see myself? A few things about me. I'm probably older than most students. I'm 40, but I'm also a U.S. Navy veteran. Um, Spent 11 years in the military, and now I'm trying to become an ambassador with the State Department. Uh, how do I see myself? Um, as you guys are pretty, most Americans are not very self-aware people. Um, I spent a lot of time abroad. In fact, I was stationed overseas for 8 years in Spain and Guam, and then I did 2 years in Hong Kong after that as a civilian before I came back to the United States. Um, so I have a little bit more different perspective than your average American. Um, but how do I see myself? Uh, I just see myself as a veteran that's trying to make sense of a civilian world that doesn't really know how to respond or treat to you. But I also recognize that though I'm a veteran, I'm only going to make my problems worse for myself because I have to keep in mind that I'm in the civilian world. It's their rules, and I'm trying to be a part of it. So, just trying to be a normal person, as normal as whatever that's supposed to mean. What are my values? I consider myself a very progressive person. I'm a diehard liberal. I believe in individual rights, but I also believe that your rights shouldn't come at the behest of others. There's a give and take when it comes to society. I think the United States Americans, as a whole, have kind of lost sight of that because they have this very selfish mindset that um, it's just very self-defeating in my regards because yeah, everyone's looking out for their own interests, but doesn't mean you got to step all over everyone else to do so. What is my role in society? Um, it, I would like to think, at least when it comes to personal relationships, that I enlighten people because uh, especially when it comes to politics. Most people have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to politics, as we all well know, based on a lot of assumptions and feelings instead of facts. Um, I try to explain that as best as I can to make it relatable to people so they realize why political participation is important, and try to point out that if it wasn't as important as it is, why are there so many interests that are trying to mitigate you using your vote and your rights? So uh, that and a veteran. I mean, I always see that I have to. I swore oaths when I was a youngin, and those oaths they don't end. So I mean, I'm a don't get me wrong. I'm a damn Yankee, but not your typical Yankee. How do people see me? Um, Self awareness is key here. Uh, my appearance, a lot of people think maybe I'm angry and aggressive, and maybe at one point that was more true. But I'm older, so I've matured. I think a little bit, maybe not as much as most people would like, but whatever. Um, but just I think I surprise a lot of people because they think I'm the last thing I want to be is unapproachable, which is a huge problem for a lot of veterans. And yeah, I just want to be an approachable, normal person that maybe I've seen and done some things. What do people think of me? I don't think a lot of people know what to think of me. I see myself as just the all American boy. Most people don't. Um, but all I can do in that regard is just influence them in my actions and how I conduct myself. And that's really all I can do about that. What do they think my values are? Well, there are a lot of assumptions and heuristics involved when it comes to that. A lot of people think instantly because I was in the military that I would be pretty conservative. I wouldn't say I'm anti-military, but I would say that there needs to be accountability for the military. And I mean, the Department of Defense here has failed 10 audits in a row. That's ridiculous. If it was any other thing in the U.S. government, everyone would be losing their minds. But for some reason in the military, that's fine. That's not okay. Also, just, anyone who's spent a good amount of time in the service knows how bad the military industrial complex is and how one-sided it is, and it's just been a cash cow for over 20 years now. But, you can be pro-American doesn't mean you need to be some Trumper wearing a red hat. I mean, the idea that somehow if you're not just waving the flag constantly, or reminding everyone that you're an American, that somehow you're not an American, is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. But people are surprised when I'm a veteran I'm not that way. I'm like, well, I want to be a normal person, and it's like putting a hat on a hat. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have spent time outside of Switzerland, and just like I've spent a lot of time outside of the United States, people know who you are. Like, maybe I might get mistaken as a Brit or an Aussie sometimes, but once I open my mouth, I know what I am. I don't need, it's putting a hat on a hat. I don't get it. It's pretty obvious if you're a Yankee. I'm sure you guys could point one out in a crowd if you had to. So why do you need to wave the flag all the way around? You just got to remind yourself that you're an American. You're a walking American flag as it is. What do they think my role in society is? I really don't think I don't really know what people think what veterans' roles in society should be. Obviously, for the most part, people want good things to happen to you. They look after their vets. People are pretty supportive of it, regardless of their political affiliation. I mean, just like anything, there are some detractors, but, you're also doing something that most people aren't willing to do, like sign away a bunch of rights and freedoms, possibly your life, all sorts of things. But there is this maybe misguided sense that we're supposed to be this invisible guiding hand, and you hear it from a lot of veterans that somehow they're going to right the ship and all this other stuff. But I don't see, if worse comes to worse, I think a lot of veterans would go back and do what they had to do in support of the country. But this idea that somehow they're the harbingers of what is right and how America should be is absolutely ridiculous. That's for society to choose, not a small segment of society. And yeah, that sentiment I don't understand. But overall, on just ideas of what people think of me in general, I think a lot of people are very surprised when they get to know me compared to what they see on the outside. Because to some, I might look aggressive, but that's not what I'm trying to be, at least not anymore, because I just want to be a normal person and a civilian because I'm not in the military anymore. And, unfortunately, a lot of veterans struggle with that concept, and then all of a sudden they think they're Vikings or some other nonsense. But yeah. Also, so our topic is the banking system. As you know, the U.S. banking system is kind of a train wreck right now. But to my surprise, even though, I would be lying if I said I paid a whole lot of attention to Swiss banking. For one, just because of the secrecy it had before. But, now I think it's become more transparent and some things have occurred. Yeah, it should be a very interesting topic to discuss. Again, I do apologize for the delay. I've had some personal things come up, but I look forward to hearing from all of you. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Good morning from America.